Hello, everybody, and welcome to Revolutionize TV. It's March the 21st, 2013, and I wanted to get this out to you before everybody flees into the wilderness today, because the abomination, if you have not heard, is in the holy place, Israel, Jerusalem, and the Antichrist is there, yes, and they have erected a ice image. It is about to speak and have life at any moment. As soon as the false prophet, also known as the Pope, uh, makes fire come down out of heaven. Of course, I'm being sarcastic, and you know, this is a lot of fiction going on right now that's all over YouTube. YouTube media is really putting it out there right now. A lot of people are teaching these doctrines and coming up with these things, you know, trying to tell us we're in the tribulation already. Um, that the Obamas, the Antichrist, and the abomination of desolation. That the astrological signs are the same signs given in Revelation, which they're not. Matter of fact, this astrological sign for the woman in Revelation 12. In Revelation, the way it's read, I believe the woman would be actually the church or Israel, and her 12 crowns, 12-star crown would be a representation of the tribes of Israel. And it's a heavenly sign, a spiritual sign in Revelations that gives contrast to something that's going to be happening on the earth at the time. And I don't believe it's this astrological stuff at all. There are some interesting things out there worth looking into, learning about triad, tetrad, blood moons, eclipses and things on different dates that fall on, the Feast of Trumpets or different kind of sabbatical festivals. There's people telling you that the one of the witnesses are running around. He purports to be one of the witnesses. He sure looks the part, but until somebody tries to hurt him and fire comes out of his mouth or he can make it stop raining, I'm not going to go for it. But I tell you right now, he's kind of out of the timeline the way I see it, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Other people are trying to tell you that the Pope is the last Pope prophecy, and that may be true for the Catholics, but they also try to link him into being the false prophet, which I believe is untrue according to Revelations. So now we'll talk on that in just a minute. And I just wanted to run this past you real quick.
Then you have four total blood red moons back to back. It's called a tetrad. And some centuries, for 400 years, there were no tetrads. This didn't happen at all. And so I looked to see in this century how many tetrads there were. And there were 6 or 7. But what's interesting, the only one that it happens on the 4 biblical holidays is 2014, 2015. It doesn't happen again. In this century, you're going to find 4 blood red moons on the biblical holiday. So the fact that it doesn't happen again in this century, I think is very significant.
And it is significant. Like I said, it's worth looking into these things and listen to what they say. But when they try to base a timeline on these things, it's got to be taken with a grain of salt, because Revelations does not say that these things have to happen on a blood moon or an eclipse. Just because the moon turns red and the sun turns black doesn't even mean it's a triad or an eclipse. Many things can do that, and that's what you're going to have to go by when you want to know things for sure. You need to go into the Bible and look at what it says and really read it and read it again and read it again.
And I got some information I want to share with you concerning Barack Obama and his trip to Israel. We have him going to meet in various locations, and it will be on the 10th of Nisan, which is disturbing in its own right. Same time Jesus had entered, right before Passover, 6 days before Passover. And Barack Obama will be there on March 22nd as well. But now they are saying, after they already say that he is a God of all things and that he is the Messiah and now dubbed as the second coming, they are making a statue of this man made of ice, and they are centering this at the old train station.
Now, you know, it's ludicrous to think that this image of ice has got anything to do with the image of the beast at all. And, you know, and they, in my opinion, they shouldn't be making an image to the guy, whether it's an ice that can melt away or not. And my personal opinion is Obama is not the Antichrist. He's a great distraction, but as are most of the things that you're hearing on the web. But, you know, I mean, it could be wrong. The guy could be the Antichrist. No one knows yet. That's for sure. But this isn't, I don't believe, any significant, I don't believe he's going to make the covenant now or anything like that. I would be surprised if he did, you know. But so what I want to point out here is that all these things you're seeing on the web like this, all these this flood of information and people, is prophetic in itself. And the reason for that would be right here. These three witnesses in the Bible told us when they talked to Jesus and asked him for signs of what his coming and his return and the end of the world. Jesus told them, he says, take heed. This is the first thing he told them in all of it. He told them to take heed that they be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. Well, Matthew and Mark said the same thing here. And what I want to point out is he said, for many shall come in my name. Well, there's a flood of many people coming onto the web these days, telling their view of things. And, you know, people get this a little confused with when he says, I am Christ, is this, they're going to come along and say, I'm Jesus, follow me. Well, that's not what he said here. He says, many will come in my name saying, I am Christ. In other words, they're going to profess that Jesus is the Christ. They're going to come in his name, professing he is Christ, and they're going to be saying the time draweth near. You know, the end is here, the end is near, the signs are here. And he said, go not therefore after them. And why? Because they shall deceive many of them. They are false teachers. And they may not mean to be false teachers even. They might think that they're telling you what they know. But the fact of the matter remains that this is something that he told us was coming and that we should be on the watch out for. And there sure is enough of it. And it's right in the forefront of everything that's happening that he said would happen. Okay, now this here is a little type of graph that I made that is right out of the Revelations. It's I took everything and listed it in the order that I could read it in there. And I call this the three woes. And it's called the three woes in Revelations. And this is three of the seven trumpets that get blown, and they're special trumpets. And the reason they're special to me is because of two things. One, each one of them actually has a timetable spoken of within it. So you can read that timetable and you know how long the time is involved that these things are happening. And the fifth trumpet is really special to also because it's the trumpet where everything starts to go kind of supernatural. Now, before the fifth trumpet, on all the other trumpets and the seals and everything, you can explain away things and say, well, that's nuclear weapons, that's chemical weapons, that's biological weapons there, you know, that's fire, that's a nuclear bomb, you know, atomic war, whatever. It can be explained away by nature and man-made interference, you know. But when you get to the fifth trumpet, it kind of all of a sudden turns supernatural. So what happens to the fifth trumpet? Well, immediately an angel comes down from heaven and opens the bottomless pit. And out of the pit comes smoke, and out of the smoke comes locusts. And these locusts are able to torment people and will torment people that do not have the seals of God in their forehead for 5 months. And for those 5 months, people will seek death, and death will flee. They will not be able to die. They have a king over them. The king is Abaddon, also known as Apollyon, and he is the angel of the bottomless pit. So it's very supernatural that this king is an angel of the bottomless pit. It's supernatural that people cannot die when they're being tormented by these locusts. And this is just something I want to point out, and doesn't have a whole lot to do with the main theme of what I want to show you here in these timelines today. But that's one thing. And note that this is when the bottomless pit is open. Now, the sixth trumpet is blown, and here's the timelines. Once it's blown, the Gentiles tread the holy city underfoot for 42 months, 3.5 years. There's two witnesses that prophecy for 1,260 days. That's 3.5 years. And then they're laying dead in the streets for 3.5 days. So after that, after they prophesy 1,260 days, they're killed by the beast that ascends from the bottomless pit. And the bottomless pit was open back here. So there's a beast that ascends from the bottomless pit that kills the two witnesses. The sixth trumpet, this all happens after the sixth trumpet, before the seventh trumpet. And the 1,260-day prophecy is finished, and then they're killed. So it states that this whole time transpires before the seventh trumpet is blown. So you have 3.5 years after the sixth trumpet, before the seventh trumpet is blown. Once the seventh trumpet is blown, then you have the vision in heaven. Everybody likes to link up the astrological signs to. But I believe this is just a spiritual description that he saw of what's going to happen at that point, which is war in heaven. War in heaven, the dragon gets cast to the earth. And once the dragon is cast to the earth and he persecutes the woman, that we know is probably Jerusalem, or Israel rather, or the church, or both. And once he's on the earth, the woman flies into the wilderness for 3.5 years. Up here in the spiritual realm, she flees into the wilderness for 1,260 days. Now, why there's a difference in the numbers, I'm going to have to keep asking God to give me an answer on that, because I don't know really why they changed from 1,260 days to 3.5 years down here. Actually, in the Revelation it says for a time and times and a half a times, but that's interpreted as 3.5 years. Also, at the same seventh trumpet, the beast that rises from the sea continues for 42 months. It's 3.5 years. And he has 10 crowns on his 10 horns, which he has 7 heads, 10 horns, 10 crowns. Okay, and also then the beast with the 2 horns comes up out of the earth. This happens at the seventh trump also. So you have 7 years total from the beginning of the sixth trumpet to sometime after the seventh trumpet, which appears to be the whole end of the tribulation, because we know that the beast that rises from the sea and continues for 42 months is here when Jesus Christ comes back and throws him physically into the lake of fire, along with this guy, the false prophet, who is also proclaimed in this prophecy that this is the false prophet. He is called the false prophet. Now, people will try to tell you that the Pope is the false prophet. Well, if the Pope is the false prophet, we all know that the woman that rides the scarlet beast, that is explained at the end of the wrath of God, the woman harlot is the Roman Catholic Church, which would seem to include the Pope. And she's burned with fire, or rather the city, Babylon, which is interpreted as the Vatican, Rome, the city on the 7 hills. But the woman harlot would be also interpreted as the church that, is a harlot. And so anyway, if he's part of this, the actual Pope, he's not going to be able to be the false prophet, because he's around to the end. The 10 kings destroy the harlot, and if he's part of the Roman Catholic Church, he's going to definitely be having to disassociate himself or something with it at that point, because this becomes destroyed by the other 10 kings, which appear to be part of this system here. See, so the scarlet beast that carries the woman is an 8th king that ascends from the bottomless pit and has 7 heads and 10 horns, but there's no crowns on horns. Now, the thing I got to tell you about this is, at this point when he comes out of the pit and kills the 2 witnesses and everything, the reason he has no crowns on his horns is because the 10 kings don't have power with him yet. The 10 kings only have power with the beast for 1 hour. And so at this point, when he rises up out of the sea, he does have 10 crowns. I assume that this is probably the same beast but he's described a little bit different because this is a different time frame that he's in, and this is the other time frame that he's in. So now he's got the 10 crowns, and that's why he's you know at that point. I'm running out of record time here, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go with this. Anybody can copy this that wants to and use it any way they want to. I hope it gives you some knowledge and insight, and God bless you.